and welcome to Horror Rewind. This is Kelly Florence.
And I'm Meg Hofdahl.
And today we're talking about The Twin. Meg, I was eagerly waiting for the release of this movie because we got to interview the writer and director, Taneli Mustonen, from Finland, about his movie Lake Bonum in our book, The Science of Serial Killers. And now we get to see another horror movie of his, and guess what? I loved it.
I thought you might. I knew that. I mean, I was eager to watch it because, like you said, he's in our book.
He's a cool dude.
He's a cool dude. Forged this relationship, and I mean, he's Finnish, and I know you love all things Finnish.
I do,
because you are indeed Finnish. So, I was really impressed with. So Lake Bodom is his other movie, that we talked about in our book, and I felt like this was just as scary and thrilling and atmospheric.
Yeah, and twisty-turny.
Yep.
Which I thought, I know exactly where this is going, and I know exactly what it is, and they kept pulling the rug out.
Yes.
Hey, we're going to get into spoilers now,
Yeah.
friends. Let me say, I love, obviously, we mentioned Finland, but I love how he literally leaned in and they moved back to Finland, and it's like, we think it's this like midsummer sort of creepy cultish business. And I love the choice that they didn't subtitle when they were speaking Finnish.
Yeah.
It says speaks native language. So that if you don't speak Finnish, you're like in the dark. It's like, oh my God, we feel like her.
Yes. Yeah. I definitely noticed that because it's like, it feels very alienating to be around, people who are not speaking your language, but that is how she would feel. So were you able to understand everything they were saying?
No, not entirely. Because I, as I've said, maybe probably on this podcast, I'm so rusty because I haven't had anyone to speak it with.
Right.
But I could understand some things. And so, but I love that purposely no subtitles.
Yes. Yeah, that was, and the atmosphere of this movie makes you feel, and then they have this old woman that makes you feel very like strange. Mm-hmm. And again, yes, they're kind of like, maybe this midsummer stuff is happening, and like this town is really weird, and there's conspiracy kind of feeling like something's going on, but that's not what's going on.
I know. And then and I thought, okay, and I didn't know anything. I thought, okay, it's horrific. She lost one of the twins. Can you imagine losing a child? Can you imagine being a twin and losing your twin?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, it's going to be a classic ghost story, and that's fine. I'm here for it.
Yeah,
but it wasn't. And then you think they body swap, but they didn't.
Yep.
And and then you think they're gaslighting her. Yep. And then you think her husband's problematic.
I know.
It's like, what?
I know, because it just keeps escalating, and here's the thing that's so great, I think, in a horror film like this. It's playing with our expectations because we watched horror movies before.
Yep. Exactly. And I was just thinking of a moment. Are you speaking of the old lady? She was in the bathroom, and I was like, the door's going to slam, and she's going to get like pulled, or we're going to see somebody come from behind. Mm-hmm. That never happened. It was in the anticipation of it. That was scary. And it's like, oh shit, that never happened.
What
it was
you're
like
expecting.
It's like horror fans writing horror. Let's go.
Yeah. No, seriously. I mean, so then you're saying, they like switch bodies, or I'm thinking, maybe he pretended to be the other twin and the other twin died. Because I've seen so many movies and read so many horror books. But that's what's so fun about this, is it keeps pulling the rug out from under you. And I love psychological horror and knowing, what is the scariest possible thing? The scariest possible thing is that she's lost her damn mind.
And she did. Now, I looked it up, and I'm assuming this was shot, the timeline that I thought. So she was pregnant during this whole film.
Oh, okay.
And so good for her, because I think doing anything pregnant is just surviving. God. And she shot this whole film while she was pregnant. For her. And she's great. Teresa Karp is great.
She's a really good actress, and I'm glad she's doing horror, because I mean, I know she's in Discovery of Witches, and she's done Warm Bodies and things like that. So I appreciate her being in horror because I think she's really good at it. And her performance in this movie is really well done. And the husband, I don't know if I've seen him in anything else, but I thought he was very good too.
He's got some credits to his name. And he was great. And the kid was freaking creepy.
I know.
The old woman was creepy.
It's, kid actors are kind of tough. Sometimes they're just like, oh, he's not good. But
I loved the reveal at the end when they go back and show everything that she was doing, and she was just there by herself.
And then it makes you like have this empathy for the husband because he's like trying to like help her get through this awful. And here's the thing. I'm guessing that obviously this is a horror movie and this is extreme, but I'm guessing that these sorts of things can happen. It's kind of like Servant, and things like that, where it's like the trauma of losing a child. You could like start thinking that they're there and you're talking to them. You kind of go a little bananas, a little crazy. I mean, who could blame her? Yeah. Obviously, this gets out of hand. But that's what's so scary about it is like it feels like it really could happen. Right.
Also, I started to notice. Well, I noticed right in the beginning. I'm like, oh, this is set in the past because they're showing the Twin Towers. But then, so then I kept thinking, why? But then, first of all, it's all of these metaphors for twins, and so Twin Towers, and then also it was set in the past because then nobody could Google anything. Like she couldn't look up the accident. She couldn't call on a cell phone. I'm like, okay, these are all the things, and you don't even think about it until you start thinking about it. Yeah. But I'm like, oh. Yes, getting technology out of there, which we've talked about in fiction writing, is a great way to further isolate your characters. Yeah, and nobody can go to quick and like look it up on their phone. Yeah. Did she have twins that died, or a twin that died, or whatever? Yeah. So it's like,
no, that makes sense. That makes sense because at one point I was like, what era is this? Which is almost isolating itself too. Because
it wasn't clear. Strange. It wasn't like, hey, this is in 1998. No. So it's just like, wait, what's going on? Why are the Twin Towers there?
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, why are the Twin Towers there? But then when they're in Finland, it felt very
old-timey.
Like, he was like typing on a typewriter. Yes. And like, so I'm just like, what? But they're not. It didn't really feel like they were speaking in the cadence of an older time. Right. Like, so that was kind of just a almost
jarring
feeling, which just aids in the whole movie of like you being like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah. It was it's not a simple concept, but it is in a way because it's really about her psychology. And it's like, it's not this huge, big budget explosion type movie. Right. It's really about these people and what she's going through. And I think grief in horror films is always, they just go together like peanut butter and jelly. Yeah. I mean, it sounds crazy, but like it manifests in so many different ways. And I guess this is just another example of what can happen.
I loved it. I loved how they were bringing in like this folklore that we're not familiar with, like, oh, these are the paintings, and if you put your hand on it, you get your wish to come true. And the woman's like, his wish came true. Yeah. And it's like, oh fuck, like he's back from the dead. Yeah. And oh my god, when he's like, mommy, you found me, and I'm like, shit, that's the dead kid. But there was no kid. Like when they went back to show the flashback, like they were just literally in the canoe by themselves. Or the rowboat. My god.
Yeah, no, I know. And then you just like, you get that like, oh, that creepy feeling. I want to watch it again now that I know
that would be happening. Fun.
Yeah.
And to see how she interacts with people in front of the child, because the child is not there.
Yeah. Because, it's so surprising because, like we said, we're just used to, like, oh, well, the other twin, or he did something to the other twin. You're going through all these other things that you know because we're all steeped in horror. But it was, he wasn't there. Yeah. Fuck.
Also, like, my god, the ending is freaking brutal. Yeah. In the woods. And then she's freaking in the car with the whole family at the end.
She's like, la, 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 like, everything's fine. And it's like, and then can't you imagine, like, okay, what's this going to look like when she's, like, talking to her dead husband and son, like, out and about?
Sons. Because she's got her twins back at the end.
She's got her twins back, even though she never had twins to begin with.
Yeah. Oh my god. And that it was her fault. Like the whole thing was her fault, of course. And so not only grief, but guilt. And how guilt probably manifests. Holy shit.
Like if it was, Because she was, like, yelling at him in the car.
Yep.
So that was a little rough.
Oh.
It kind of makes me think, did you ever watch, I think you did, that movie Triangle?
That was like Dexter's favorite.
That's like
right?
Dexter's favorite.
I still haven't seen it.
Okay, well, I won't say anything.
Well, no, just who's in it though, so the crowd knows. The crowd that's listening.
The crowd
right now.
that's listening. I can't think of her name.
It's fine.
But she's somebody. But anyway, Triangle. Watch that movie, and you too can feel more mother's grief and guilt.
Well, and so again, it harkens back to the Babadook.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm like, oh, well, this is exactly what this is going to be. Not exactly, but, you know.
Yeah.
But so I feel like, and we have noticed this in good writing lately. I mean, because we're watching so much and reading so much and researching so much, everything takes from everywhere, and that's fine.
Yeah.
And if you pay homage to the things that you love, it'll come out and we'll love it.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, we were talking about Stranger Things kind of pulling things from Stephen King, but they love it so much that they take the best parts of it and make it their own.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly.
So it's, you know, it's not derivative. It's something new and wonderful. And so we're going to be writing our book called The Stand-ish.
Oh my gosh. I loved this movie. I just went in, I didn't go in with high expectations. I just went in with like average, like, I enjoyed Lake Bodom, so I probably will enjoy this one.
Yeah.
I think dare I say, I may have liked this one even more, but I loved Lake Bodom.
I know that's another one I want to rewatch. But yeah, I think I like this one more just because it really, just personally, it just hits on some things that are a little more, like, big hits for me, like, the psychological aspect, the mother aspect, you know, female driven, those kinds of things.
Yeah. And, oh my God, I love that her husband was a writer and like he had a big hit or whatever, and then he was trying to get back to it.
Yes.
But he's basically been babysitting his wife.
Yeah.
No, I don't mean to just say that dismissively, but like he's trying to take care of her.
This is a big, I mean, can you imagine hearing your spouse upstairs talking to not even your dead child, but like some child she like came up with to like,
oh God, to cope. So freaking like weird. And how like when she got the second bed, and then oh my God, the kid, and I know that he wasn't even there, but he started sleeping in the other bed. She's like, sleep in your own bed.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck.
I know.
That's good.
It is good, because then you're like, oh, like, and then when she was talking about she felt relieved that the bad one died.
Yes. Oh,
that was,
my
God.
God. That's dark.
That's really dark, especially once you like think about everything, because then she's basically talking about the kid who died was like the one she didn't like.
Yikes.
And she made
up a new kid.
She made up a new kid that
was perfect.
Ooh.
Oh God. Okay, so when he has the little like game thing in bed, like the first time, she's like, "Where'd you get that?"
Yeah.
And then when they bury it and he digs it up.
Yes. But he didn't dig it up.
She did.
She went and dug it up.
She did.
Ew. See, this is the kind of movie I like where you just go back and you're like, oh no. Because it's just so creepy.
So creepy.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love creatures and all that. But sometimes these kind of movies are like, wow.
Yeah.
They
no
just blow
special
your
effects.
mind.
I mean, maybe there were. I can't recall.
Yeah.
But holy shit.
And like the whole like teeter-totter thing.
That swing, the wedding swing. That was terrifying.
Because it just felt...
It felt very Midsummer.
It felt very Midsummer, yeah. It felt like they were going to be, like, sacrificed or something. But then she's worried about her kid, but he's not even there.
I kept, not in a bored way, but I kept looking at how much was left, because I'm like, wait, this has to be the end, right? And then it wasn't. Mm-hmm. I'm like, wait, there's 40 minutes left? Wait, what's going to happen? In a good way, because I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah, because it did feel, it's like, oh, okay, this town's creepy, and they're going to, like...
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, and her husband's in on it.
And also, like, there was the whole thing of, like, we're going to, resurrect the devil through...
Yeah.
Also, it was giving babysitter vibes.
Oh.
You remember that movie?
Yeah.
It was giving some of that, and... Mm-hmm. Like with the whole sacrifice and like they had their costumes on and it was good.
Yep. No, I really enjoyed it. I think it would make a really good book. Yeah. Like I could see that being a really good book. Yeah. But I don't think it is a book. And I saw he wrote it as well.
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
I can't wait to see what he does next. And his writing partner, I can't think, Alex, I can't remember his name right now. I apologize. But this was solid.
Yeah.
I would check it out. I mean, if you've listened to this whole thing, you got everything already, you know. But now you can maybe go in with fresh eyes and notice things that we didn't.
Yeah.
More twinning references, mirroring references.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my God, when and there was nobody there, but he's like, hold this mirror and like say this thing.
And then
all of that.
He's like whispering.
And then she hit her own head.
Yeah. Oh.
When they did the reveal at the end.
Oh.
Like this is weirdness.
I
That's
love it.
Creepy.
I love it. This is my jam for sure.
Can you imagine coming out and seeing Luke sit? Well, you can because he sleepwalks. I don't know if he still does. Seeing him staring in a mirror and then he breaks the mirror over his head, like at the kitchen table. That's freaking creepy.
Like, what would you do? Would you run? Would you run? Would you be like, honey, let's go to the doctor now.
I would be logical and I'd be like, what's going on? Like, are you sleepwalking? Like, what's happening?
Yeah.
But in a horror movie, people are always like, why are you doing this? Just run away. It's like, no, but I think logically we would.
You'd be like, honey, why are you hitting your face?
I mean, if it's a stranger, I'm going to run away. But if it's your spouse, and that's what makes this so good too, is that, well, of course, we're going to do crazy things for the people that we love because we love them and we're going to try to help them through it. People might say, well, just lock her up or throw her in an institution.
But he's trying to like bring her somewhere, get some fresh air, the old fresh air trick.
Yep. New surroundings, forget about it. But she doesn't.
Oh, boy.
My God, and she freaking murders him.
Yeah. Yeah, she murders him.
God, that was brutal.
Yeah, it was brutal. Because she thinks he's hurting her child.
Holy crap.
Right? Oh boy. This is intense. I feel very intense. Like
I know.
This
I feel like my mind is split. I know.
I'm like, oh.
What if you're not here right now?
What if you're not here right now?
And this whole podcast is one-sided. And people who listen to it are like, wow, she's up to it again.
She finally figured it out.
And neither of us know who it is right now because it could be either of us.
Oh, well. I feel pretty real.
I know.
But maybe I'm not.
See, that's the thing. It's like the old trick. It's like, oh, pinch yourself to see if you're awake or like to see if you're real. But if you're manifesting it's all in your mind, couldn't you just manifest that feeling of being pinched?
Yeah, you could. I felt nothing.
I just pinched Meg.
I did have a tick on my boob today, though.
Oh, boy.
So that was a pinch.
Sorry about that.
It's okay, everyone. It was traumatizing for me, but I'm going to be okay.
And we could have been talking about ticks today, which we already did talk about it. So go back and listen to that episode, friends. That was Meg's
the movie ticks.
pick back in the day. Remember that?
Yeah, I love that movie.
This was literally Meg's first tick.
Yeah, I live in Minnesota and I've never had a tick on, like literally like have its head buried in me before.
God, when you put it that way, it's disgusting.
Yeah, it is disgusting.
I mean, I already knew it was disgusting, but
saw it in the shower and like, it was very hard for me to stay calm. Oh. I'm like, Kelly.
Yuck. I'm just glad it wasn't in your butt crack.
It was intimate enough in my boob.
I would have helped you remove it either way,
Thank
but Lord.
you. I should probably check my butt crack.
On that note, let's rank this movie on a scale of 0 to 10. 0 being you hated it, 10 being it's a perfect movie. What's our scale? It's that little game, right?
Yeah,
but it's covered in dirt.
Covered in dirt. It's like a little ball game maze thing.
How many maze ball games covered in dirt do you give the twin?
I give it a 9 because it's really good and the more I think about it, the more I like it. Yeah. Like the more we talked about it just now. Yeah. I'm like, oh. It's good, and I want to watch it again.
Well, and also, I'm giving it a 9.5. I think that literally talking through the concepts and just thinking about it, like I didn't realize how much it broke my brain and how complicated it was. Again, good writing,
and that's what I love, and that's the thing. That's what I love about horror, especially. And I know in other genres it's like this too, but when you really like just stretch the boundaries of thought. And to me, this just like makes you think so hard. I love it. I love it. I love it.
So we can't wait to see what this writer-director does next. And we can't wait for you to watch it, friends, if you haven't yet. So until next time, we'll see you in the horror section.
Bye.